Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope you're well. Today we pay our respects to Mr. Jimi Hendrix, someone who's considered to be one of the most influential musicians and guitarists of the 20th century, an absolute legend, and what he achieved in like a relatively short space of time is absolutely phenomenal. His career was literally, I think, sort of four and a half years before he tragically passed away, and he was like really out there doing what he loved. I didn't realise what he achieved and how much of an influence he was, and also that he was 27 years old when he tragically passed away. So technically he's part of the 27 Club, along with Kurt Cobain, Amy Winehouse and other sort of mega famous, super talented people. So some of you are probably aware that he's actually buried in Greenwood Memorial Park in Renton, Washington. So unfortunately we don't visit his final resting place, but we do visit his Mayfair apartment on Brook Street, which is where he lived in the late 60s, 1968 and 1969, with his girlfriend at the time. And what they've done, they've actually turned it into a museum. So they've recreated the or his apartment as it was when he lived in it, and it's actually part of the building is also dedicated to another composer, Mr. George Handel, who was alive in the 1700s. So I think they live next door, like the two apartments are next door to each other. So what they've done, they've turned both buildings into museums dedicated to both men, which is really cool. So we visit and have a look at the flat that he lived in, and they've actually recreated it as it was, which is really interesting to see. And we also visit what used to be the Samarkand Hotel in Notting Hill, which is where the apartment was when he tragically passed away in 1970. So as always guys, I hope you enjoy the video. If you watch the videos and you don't subscribe, please can you subscribe? I am trying to get the numbers up on the subscriber side, so as I said, please subscribe. It doesn't cost anything at all, and as always, leave your comments down below and we will get more info on Mr. Jimi Hendrix. Jimi Allen Hendrix was born on November the 27th, 1942 in Seattle, and growing up as a kid he just fell in love with music. He drew inspiration from like major megastars and musicians of the time, including Buddy Holly and B.B. King. And when he was around 15 he got his first guitar and started to play and joined a local band. And in 1961 he left home and joined the army, but he was discharged soon afterwards following a parachute accident, and that sort of forced him to follow his road even more into music. He became a session musician and he played with some of the biggest megastars of the time, including Tina Turner, Sam Cooke and other sort of major players at the time. But after a while he sort of had enough of being in the background, and he wanted to make a name for himself and get out there. So he quit being a session musician and he formed his own group, which was called Jimmy James and the Blue Flames. And in the mid-60s they played like the local circuit, and it was during this time that he crossed paths with a gentleman called Chaz Chandler, who I think he was a bassist and a musician. I think they knew each other from previous, but Chaz sort of watched them play and he was absolutely just like really impressed by what he saw, and he persuaded Jimi Hendrix to sign a deal with him for him to manage him. And the deal also involved him moving to London and setting up a new group, which he did. And I think it was also Chaz Chandler who had a bit of influence on him in changing his name to Jimi Hendrix. So Jimi Hendrix moved to London and he formed a new group which was called Jimi Hendrix Experience. And as soon as they arrived in London, there was such a buzz about the group. They became really popular everyone was talking about them. They released their first single, which was called Hey Joe, and that was in the UK charts for about 10 weeks, I think. And then they followed that up with an album which was an absolute smash, and the album had like loads of mega hit singles on it, I think, including Purple Haze and Foxy Lady. And they just continued to tour, continued to record, and it was, even though they were really successful in the UK, they hadn't quite sort of smashed it in the US. And they played a festival, I think it was an international festival, and it was Jimi Hendrix rendition of Wild Thing that absolutely just sent the crowd into a frenzy. And literally overnight they became mega stars, mega superstars, and they were just touring. I think they became one of the highest grossing groups tour wise and sales wise. They were just absolutely smashing it. And after a while, I think the constant recording and the constant touring and then being on the road started to get to the band members, and the band split. And during the split, Jimi Hendrix continued to record, continued to collab, but quite soon after they split, I don't think it was long, in 1970, he got the group back together and they started to record like a 2-part LP. Tragically, he never saw it completed or never saw it released. He passed away in September 1970, and the music they were recording at the time, I think with the help of the original music engineers that were working with him and the band, sort of got together, finished the work, and it was released in 1997.
Suçu oluyor.
So I have a silly question.
Oh,
A lot of this stuff is his actual stuff?
no.
No.
The only thing that was left behind is that mirror.
So that mirror is
You
from...
can see it behind his head in some of these photographs here.
Wow.
So it's from the period when he lived in this flat. But otherwise, it's a complete reproduction. It's exactly as it was.
Exactly as it was. But that mirror was actually his...
And it was found, yes, I mean, you think, what did that mirror see?
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
But it was stuck in a cupboard somewhere, and luckily.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is so cool. So that is actually Jimi Hendrix
Yes.
mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow. And was the flat, like, was it sold in between or was it continuously owned?
Rented.
It was,
Yes.
so after he passed away.
Oh no, he'd left by then.
Oh, he'd left.
Kathy had left him. She couldn't stand it any longer.
Oh, they broke. Sorry, my
Yes,
history
yes.
isn't. So they broke up.
They broke up, and then he sort of bummed around and landed up with this German ice skater called Monica Denneman.
Okay.
And she was around when he died. He had this rather horrible time up. He was in Notting Hill
Right.
in a hotel.
That's where he passed away, wasn't
Yeah.
it? In the basement flat, I think.
No, it was in, I don't think it was a basement, but she what had happened was that he couldn't drink wine. He couldn't drink red wine.
Right.
He was on drugs. She gave him very strong sleeping pills, which I suppose she'd got in Germany, and that's what killed him. Really, was the combination of
Everything.
everything, and the red wine. They've said they found about a bottle of red wine in his stomach. So
Wow.
that's
So her giving him the tablets, obviously.
well, that was one of the things that didn't help.
The combination.
No. Yeah.
But that's the mirror there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
That is so cool.
Yeah. Can you get that? Yes.
Yeah. So that is that mirror.
Yeah. That's good.
Wow. So did they own this flat or did they rent it?
Kathy found it.
Oh, Kathy found it.
Yes, Kathy Etchingham. I think they were paying something like £30 a week, was it? Something like that, yes.
Which was a lot of money back then,
Yes,
wasn't it?
exactly, yes. Of course, he was making a lot. But
Yeah, I was gonna say he
all
was-
rather haphazard.
He was the man. But a lot went on here, didn't it? Like he used to record and have
Oh,
parties
yes.
and
Oh, yes.
documentaries and from
yeah, a lot of things happened. Yeah. There's a timeline in there.
Yeah.
When you go in there. And
Wow.
what we call the dog bear, he had one, and one of the volunteers here knits, and she made that one, copied the exact one.
wow.
And you couldn't. She's made much smaller ones, which you couldn't buy in the shop if you're so inclined.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
And his records, obviously, he was a big.
Well, these are all what he would have had.
Yeah.
And again, in that room, there's a lot in there. Which,
But they're not the actual.
No.
No.
We couldn't have them. And anyway, they'd have gone. They'd have
Yeah.
finished. And he led this rather strange life of drinking tea and playing Monopoly.
Oh, cool. Oh, he loved Monopoly.
Yeah,
That is a really cool
ordinary
game.
way of living.
It's strange, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, in our head, it's just
Yeah, sitting on the floor playing Monopoly.
chilling,
Chilling out.
drinking, jamming music and playing Monopoly.
Yes. We've last time I was here, a few days ago, there was a guy. He comes in, I think, on a regular basis now with his guitar, and he brings another one with him. And if one of the visitors can play, they'll sit here sort of jamming together.
Oh,
It
wow.
was really good the other day listening to them.
Oh, that would be
They were
cool.
Really at it.
Does he just sort of turn up whenever?
I'm not sure on what basis, but I think he's coming up. We've only just opened, you see, after 3 years.
Oh,
years
there
of
was
being
a
shut.
yes,
That's right. So it's all rather
new
new
and
there's nothing
finding the way.
Yeah.
That is so brilliant.
Mm.
The cigarettes, everything is sort of, but the layout is pretty much as it would have been.
We see, we've got all these photographs.
Of course.
Yes.
So all the information is there, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hello. Nice rugs.
They were mad on rugs. And then Kathy would go over to John Lewis across the road and
Yeah.
choose curtains and
Just
stuff.
shop and
It
stuff
sounds
over
rather-
there.
rather
So he would go
ordinary.
as well. He would.
Yeah, they go and choose the fabric for the curtains, etc.
Wow.
Does his ghost inhabit that dog?
Well, I was just telling the gentleman here, that dog was made by one of our volunteers who
I
knits.
see.
whether she cast a spell on it, I don't know. But she makes smaller ones, and you can buy them in.
Definitely one of the most creative and influential musicians of the 20th century. Hendrix epitomises an era standing out among the many icons of the late 60s.
Just a side note on the guitar, I just learned actually he didn't own the guitar himself, but it was the first guitar that he played when he came to London.
So yeah, he played that guitar?
Yeah, and so it has the same strings. that
Original,
he played
so he played,
yeah, when he
nothing has changed on it.
when he first came to London. But it was his friend's guitar.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but that's the guitar he played. When
That's
he
still
first came to
cool
London.
though, isn't it?
Yeah, I know. But I just thought I'd let
Yeah.
you know.
Can I just ask, so
Yeah.
these stairs went up obviously
Yeah.
to the
So
kitchen?
Yeah, so there was a small kitchen upstairs.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So that's now gone.
It's still up there. I was actually just asking this myself. So, but they've closed it off so that you can access this more easily.
Right, okay.
I'm not sure what the plans are. If
At some point
Yeah.
it will become part of...
that's actually something that I'm looking into as well.
Yeah, because obviously that was his kitchen and bathroom, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So that's how they would have come up. That was connected also through this way.
Oh yeah,
So it
of
would-
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Oh, so they got rid of that to make this accessible,
To connect the
obviously,
two
to connect the
buildings.
two buildings.
yes.
So this, number 22, is the building where Jimi Hendrix died. Hope you enjoyed the video, guys. Let me know your thoughts as always on the legend that is Jimi Hendrix. If you listen to his music or saw him play in concert at any point or have visited the museum, please let me know in the comments below. And as I said earlier, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, and we will see you on the next one.